to edit it afterwards. Um, so could you tell me a little bit about yourself? I have written down that I am pleasure to interview you today. A friend of mine is an entrepreneur and he runs the company. Was it Always Be in Contact?
Well, keep it simple. Technologies is the name of the company,
Mm-hmm.
and our first product is Always Be in Contact.
Okay, great. And can you tell me a little more about yourself, just so we can...
Sure. Oh, yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
So my name is Benjamin King, and I like to consider myself a serial entrepreneur. This is the fourth company that I've started, and I enjoy the challenge of creating a product or service that helps solve a problem and can help improve many people's lives.
Awesome. Cool. That's really cool. Great. Then I guess we'll just continue. Oh, I also wanted to let you know that the assignment said at the bottom that I'm going to be interviewing you again at the end of the semester if that's cool with you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. Well, good to hear. Okay, then I will ask you the first question. As an entrepreneur, if someone were to ask you for your input in creating a course plan, what would you want to teach students in an introductory entrepreneurship class? Or another way to say it, what would be the most important things that you think need to be taught in an introduction entrepreneurship class?
So I think the biggest, most important thing for all entrepreneurs is to learn that failure is not bad. You know, that in our society, we're taught at a very early age, and school teaches us that if you don't have the answer or if you're not correct, well, then you get wrong, and if you get too many wrong questions, you fail. And I think that is a mistake, because if you look at some of the most brilliant people in history, like Thomas Edison, they failed constantly, but yet they were always successful at the end. And for an entrepreneur like myself, even though I've started 4 companies, I wouldn't really, consider myself successful yet, because every time I'm constantly learning. Now, I may not be a quote-unquote public failure, but every time you start another company or another project, the experience that you've learned and gained, and a lot of the experiences that an entrepreneur needs to be financially successful, meaning to sell their company for a large sum of money.
Wow. Okay.
Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be taught the skills of how to start a company, just because we are in a constantly changing environment, and technology is something that's not slowing down. And so by learning the technology and learning how to solve problems with it is what will allow you to be successful.
Yeah, that is really helpful. And I think that is what our class is trying to teach us. The first day we went through like all the myths of being an entrepreneur. And yeah, and that was actually really enlightening, because we had to go out and actually ask people whether or not they thought this was true. And all of the things that we were asking ended up being myths, but it was really interesting to hear other people's perceptions of them and then like ourselves judge whether or not we thought they were myths. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good exercise. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. What does it mean to you to be an entrepreneur? And to continue, have you ever heard or do you think that other entrepreneurs would describe themselves differently, and why?
So the first part of that question, what does it mean for me to be an entrepreneur?
Yes.
And again, coming back to my intro, I like to solve problems. I studied engineering in school. And to me, an entrepreneur is someone that finds a solution to a problem that not only can help himself, but can help everybody or more people. And the goal or the purpose to me of an entrepreneur is to take that solution to that problem and then to provide it to everyone. And so in the form of a business, you would sell a product or a service, or you can also be an entrepreneur in the sense that you start a charity or a nonprofit or a non-governmental organization, because you want to help people in need who might not necessarily have the resources or the money to purchase anything, but you can go out there and find people
second part was, have you heard of other entrepreneurs describing themselves differently from the way that you think that you describe yourself as an entrepreneur? Or do you think that other people generally just describe entrepreneurship as differently from how you view it?
Yes, other people, a lot of people that I talk to think that being an entrepreneur is all about starting a company and making money. Yes, can be about starting a company,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to make a lot of money. There are many people that start up companies that are not roughly successful. So, but in essence, they're still entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And also, people don't think about the other side of the coin, about starting a nonprofit or about starting a charity to help people. I mean, those are entrepreneurs too.
Yeah.
And a great example is my wife's friend, Maha. She's a PhD student, and whenever she would go on a research trip to Haiti or a country, she would go to her friends and collect money to buy medicine and other things to hand out to people in need in those countries. And she had a name for this group. In a way, she was an entrepreneur. She would actually go to Walmart stores and get Walmart to donate as well. So I would definitely consider her an entrepreneur, but other people have more of that stereotypical view of an entrepreneur starting a company and making all the money and being the goal.
Yeah. I mean, that's what entrepreneurs do. I mean, people who are starting a business always are going out and looking for money. I would say that's the exact same thing. Okay, cool. And then I'll ask you our last question. What do you wish you had learned, or what experience do you wish you had had when you were in school and hadn't yet set out on your path to become an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a really tough question.
I know.
Because a lot of the experiences that I learned about being, I guess the biggest challenge about being an entrepreneur, and what would be difficult to teach in school, is dealing with people and the different interactions you have to go through, and it's being under tense situations. And here's a perfect example that school can't teach you. When you're an entrepreneur, you go through and hire people, and everyone's all excited. They want to build a team, and it's easy to practice your interviewing skills. But here's the hardest thing that I don't think you can learn in school: how to fire someone. And the first time that I had to fire someone who I hired, it was extremely difficult. I had given them 10 chances to turn around. I had worked with them. I really wanted to see them become a success.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, sometimes, a specific role.
Yeah.
And, or some people that don't perform. And when you're starting a company or a new project, you have to have people that are dedicated and passionate and that want to see it succeed. And if there's any way to teach someone how to fire someone, the thing is, it's just that whole emotional process where it's extremely difficult. I mean, there's really no way to prepare for it. There's no way to simulate it. Because it's someone that you hire, right? That you worked with, you coached, and then having to fire them, and then to know they have family or they have kids also makes that extremely difficult. And unfortunately, you have to give them a chance, but also you have to do what's right for the company, because otherwise, everything, including you, will be out on the street as well. So that would probably be the toughest thing I've had to do as an entrepreneur that is difficult to teach in school.
Yeah, I couldn't really even imagine an exercise that any professor would do that would really encompass what you go through when you have to fire someone that you've worked with for so long.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's always the first person you have to fire because it's always the hardest. And I mean, there's just no way about it. It's how do you tell someone, for example, if you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, how do you
Oh.
And you sort about it all day long, but the feelings and the emotions and whatnot, going through to do that are just completely overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah, they really are. I mean, that would be my only comparison would be like to going through a breakup or having to break up with someone. And it's still, I still can't imagine firing someone. It sounds because that's their whole livelihood. But that is really insightful though, and since we'll keep it as a short interview, I guess that'll probably be it. But thank you so much, Ben, for allowing me to interview you today.
Yeah, not a problem. It's a lot of fun. If you need any clarification or if you need some more questions, just let me know and I'd be happy to answer.
Sure. Yeah. I'll let you know. I'm gonna stop the video right